अच्छा, आज के today's topic, class topic is dual converters. So what basically is dual converter meaning? মানে dual converter থেকে নাম থেকেই বুঝতে পারছো there will be two converters. Okay. Now we had studied about many types of converter. One is the full bridge converter. One is your semi converter. One is your midpoint converter. All these had different advantages and disadvantages. We had also talked about them also. Now, if you consider a semi-converter, what was the advantage over there, or how it was operated? For that, it was operated for RL load because we did not want the negative portion, and we want the freewheeling action to be inbuilt within the converter itself. We don't need to add any, didn't need to add any freewheeling down. So that was a very good advantage of semi-converter. But we will focus on the quadrant of operation. So since your semi-converter output, if you recall your semi-converter output, both your load current and load voltage was positive. So both your load current and load voltage was positive. So that's why always power will flow from source to load. Okay, so that's why it is called a single quadrant converter where voltage and current is positive. That is your first quadrant. Now, if you had compared with your full converter was two quadrant because you know that your full converter can be operated into inverting mode also as a rectifying mode. What was the criteria in order to work it as rectifying mode in rectifying mode? So alpha should be less than 90 degree, and if you want to operate that converter into inverting mode, alpha will be greater than 90 degree. That means power flow will be opposite. That we had already studied. So we have two modes of operation in case of full converter. One is your first quadrant and one is your fourth quadrant, where voltage is negative but current flow is positive. So in full converter, first and fourth quadrant, and semi converter in first quadrant. Now, if you think about the first few lectures which we had studied about choppers, in chopper we had a four quadrant chopper. Why we had a four quadrant chopper? Because a DC motor can operate in all of the four quadrants. So according to a voltage, polarity and current, these quadrants were determined. Now the output of the rectifier is also a DC. And why we are using a control rectifier? Because you know you have to control your voltage, and the preliminary aim is to control your speed of the motor. So that's why we need all the four quadrant operation over here, and that's why we'll go for dual converter. So basically what I'm trying to say is that one converter will operate in first and fourth quadrant, and another converter will operate in second and this second and third quadrant. So all the four quadrants will be covered by this dual converter. Now how it is done, all we will discuss. These are the values of alpha which you have to put when the quadrant 1, quadrant 2. You can understand it in the later slide. This alpha 1 means converter 1. Dual converter, I told you, two converters will be there for first converter, uh, and this alpha 2 is for second converter. These are the conditions to operate it in the first, second, third, fourth quadrant. So we'll look into it. What is the basic structure of a dual converter? This question can come only as your short notes. Write short notes on dual converter, nothing else, not more than that. So the arrangement of this full converter. So you know this converter, right? This side on the left hand side, this part where I'm moving the mouse, you know this part of the converter. This up to this we have studied. Another converter we'll add. Okay, this is a second converter, just in the opposite direction. So converter 1, this is converter 2. So converter 1 will have alpha 1, converter 2 will have alpha 2 firing engines. So this is a basic configuration of your single phase. This is basic configuration of your three phase. Same thing. We have three phase, up to this we have studied. The left hand converter 1 we have studied. This converter 2 will be operating in inverting mode. Okay. So just the opposite way we have connected and done it. This is converter 2. This is non-circulating type dual converter. I'll tell you what is non-circulating and circulating. So we'll go, we just look into this. These are the two pictures which depict your dual converters. The two functional modes are non-circulating and circulating mode. Okay, we have to discuss in short about these two modes. So before discussing, we should understand what a dual converter is. Okay, so what we are trying to make in a dual converter, we are taking first ideal dual converter and trying to understand the firing angle of this converter 1 and converter 2. Because you know how you control the firing angle will give your output voltage over here. So converter 1 and 2 should be controlled in such a way that the required quadrant of operation is obtained. Now, how is that firing angle control done? The formula is alpha 1 plus alpha 2 equal to 180. The next slide, we have a derivation for it. No need to worry about how it is coming. So just for understanding, you understand this one. See what will happen for converter 1, current will flow in this direction. For converter 2, current will again flow in this direction clockwise. In this loop, there will be a clockwise current. Now, why is this diode given? Generally, should not be given. See, no diode is there in the circuit. But what I am trying to indicate over here is unidirectional flow of current. That means current will always flow in clockwise. Over here, current will always flow in clockwise. That's why these two diodes are given. So one converter, suppose the converter 1 has output V01 and converter 2 has output V02. Okay. So to make the output voltage of the two converters in same polarity and magnitude, the firing angle should be controlled. Now, how the firing angle is controlled, we will see in the next slide. That is how we get this alpha 1 plus alpha 2 equal to 180. This should always be maintained in a dual converter. Okay. So this is you can take any converter over here. You can take this one or this one. Okay. You know the average and RMS value formulas we had already derived. So V01 will be V0M cos alpha 1, V02 will be V0M cos alpha 2. So if you take a single phase, it will be 2 Vm by pi. Sorry, this will be 3 phase. For 3 phase, it will be 3 VML by pi. These derivations we have already done for average values, average value of output voltage. So what we are trying to make, we are trying to make the values of V01 and V02 equal. But as you can see, the V0 from V01 current will flow in this direction, right? It will enter the plus, and if this is going in the clockwise direction, it will enter the minus. So both are having opposite polarities. The voltage because of V01 and V02 will be opposite in nature. So V0M cos alpha 1 is equal to minus V0M cos alpha 2. Now if you take both single phase, so V0M will be 2 Vm by pi, cancels out. If you take both as three phase, you V0M will be 3 VML by pi and it will cancel. So you ultimately will get cos alpha 1 is equal to minus cos alpha 2, and minus cos alpha 2 can be written as cos 180 minus alpha. So alpha 1 is equal to 180 minus alpha 2, and from here you get your firing angle control. Alpha 1 plus alpha 2 is equal to 180 degrees. So that is why this firing angle control, how it should be maintained, is alpha 1 plus alpha 2 equal to 180 degrees. Now you can think it either ways also. What we want, one converter to operate as a rectifier, right, and another converter to operate as a inverter. So if you take this as 90 degree, suppose 70 degree, what should be the other value? It should be greater than 90. So total sum should be 180. See, if you take alpha 1 as 70, so alpha 2 will be 110. So 110 means above 90. So obviously my converter 2 will operate as an inverter. If you want to operate the other way, means opposite way. So if you want the converter 2 to be operating as a rectifier, so alpha 2 will be less than 90 degree, maybe 60 degree. So what will be alpha 1? 120 degree. Okay, and you know 120 degree is greater than 90. So obviously converter 2 has to operate in inverting mode. So that is the basic concept. Why this alpha 1 plus alpha 2 equal to 90 degree, 180 degree. So you can understand this. If you put all the values, your V01 will slowly go like this, because it is a cost function. It will start from maximum. At 90 it will be 0, at 180 it will be minus 1. Okay, so it will go like this, and V02 will be the opposite thing, because V01 is equal to minus V02. So just the opposite thing drawn. Minus maximum, then 0, then plus maximum. So that's why I have written, see, rectification. See, up to 90 degrees, see, up to 90 degrees, what is happening? V01 is having positive value, V02 is having negative value. So I can say my V01, my converter 1 is acting as a rectifier, and my converter 2 is acting as an inverter. See, dotted line I have used, dotted line. Okay. So after 90 degree, what happens? Obviously, it will change. So what will happen? The second converter will act as a rectifier now. See, it has become bold line now, rectifier. And then you want the other converter will have act as an inverter. So if you don't want the other converter operation, you can switch off this converter. So only you can have the positive pulses. Whichever you want, that ways you can operate. Okay. So these are the basic points. I have already told you all these points previously. Just we'll go through it. So what we have seen, we have to control the firing angle in a manner alpha 1 plus alpha 2 equal to 180 degree, so that both converters have their average output voltage equal and of same polarity. So one converter will act as rectifier, other converter will act as inverter. Output voltage, how it is given, V01 and V02, but instantaneous voltages. What I'm saying, instantaneous voltage. At this point, this one is maximum. This is maximum, but in the negative direction. This is max. This is value is over here. Suppose 5 volt. This is minus 5 volt over here. Okay. At this point, this is minus 1. This is plus 1. So it is instantaneous values are equal but opposite. Okay, out of phase. Now what happens? Now you see, if these two converters are acting at the same time, this will create a voltage across the load. This will also create a voltage across the load. So the potential difference between these two will cause a huge circulating current to flow through the load. Okay. So if this is 120, this is minus 120, 120 minus 1, minus of minus 120, 240. So 240 will create a huge current to flow through this, because this is connected to ground and all. So load, all connections are done. So current can flow through this load. So a huge circulating current will flow because of this nature of the voltage. So in order to limit that voltage, what we do is we use reactors. You know, LDI by dt, inductors are used or reactors are used to limit the current. So we use a reactors in between the two converters. Okay, these reactors only classify your two modes. One is non-circulating, one is circulating mode. Okay, so we'll look into that. It is very easy. You just look into this. Without circulating current. So first mode is without circulating current. So without circulating current, if you want to see, so what we mean with that. See, I'm going to this slide, because this is the diagram with non-circulating type or without circulating current, whichever you want to see. In this, what happens? One converter is operated at a time. Why the circulating current is flowing? Because converter 1 and converter 2 is operated at the same time. Then only it will create a potential drop across this load. So if I operate only one converter at one time, there is no problem of that. So that's why one converter is operated at one time. So this converter will first act as a rectifier. Then I'll operate this converter as a inverter, inverting mode. So there is no problem of the circulating current over here. So that is the reason why we use a non-circulating mode. Now, during converter operation, if you want to operate the converter one as rectifier, so you have 0 to 90 degree. If you want to converter 2 to act as rectifier, so it will be 0 to 90 degree again. And if you want to do the opposite way, it will be the other operation, inverting mode. So these are all the things you can go through it. Just few points are written. Okay, last important point what I want to tell you is point number 3. What happens during the changeover from one converter to the another converter? We have to ensure that the load current must decay to 0. From one converter to the another converter, if I am going for switching, then we have to ensure that the load current has become 0. Then only the other converter has been given gate pulse. So there should be a small delay of 10 to 20 milliseconds before firing of the other converter switches. Okay, so there will be a reliable commutation. You know this thing, that if there is a small gap will be there, there will be no cross conduction faults and everything. So that's why it is always required to give a 10 to 20 millisecond delay for reliable commutation of SC in outgoing converter. Now, last topic for today we have with circulating current. So with circulating current, what will happen? I will have to operate both the converters at the same time. Now, in order to limit the circulating current, what I will do, use two reactors. Means take a large value of reactor, divide that into two, and place it one part with one converter and the other part with the other converter. Okay. So this is a basic single phase converter, and if you consider the three phase, same thing will be there, same three phase like your non-circulating mode, except over here we have your two inductors placed over here to limit the circulating current, nothing else. These are the output voltages which are appearing. Okay, you can try this at your on your own, because I have shown you how to draw for a full converter the output voltage. Those are only drawn over here. You have to draw all the line voltages, take some alpha value. For that alpha value, suppose the alpha value is 60 degree. You want to take the alpha converter one as 60 degree. Take that for 60 degree and draw this. This waveform we had already seen for 60 degree, because 60 degree was the limit to continuous and discontinuous conduction. See, for 60 degree it is reaching 0. Beyond 60 degree, the negative part would have been 0 in case of R load. If there was RL load, the negative part would have been shown. So 60 degree is the transition point. I have shown only 60 degree over here. Okay, so you can draw this waveform. The other one, how will be the other one drawn? Alpha 1 plus alpha 2 equal to 180 degree. So what will be alpha 2? It will be 180 minus 60, that is 120 degree. So for 120 degree, you draw your waveform. So for 120 degree, you draw your waveform, it will look like this. So you will see that the V01 and V02 just is a mirror image of one another, is a replica of one another. So V01 is equal to minus V0. Means if this is maximum, this will be minimum. If this is maximum, if this is minimum, this will be maximum. If you plot the voltage V0, you will get this waveform, and if you plot the reactor voltage, you will get this. So no, just go through this waveform once, because you know all this to draw, and you can draw this. I expect you to draw this. So these points are written over here. We have two converters, and over there reactors are placed. We have seen in figure 4a and 4b. This is a 4b, how the reactors are placed. So those reactors will limit your circulating current. How will my firing angle be given? Always my principle is alpha 1 plus alpha 2 equal to 180. So next what will happen? If alpha 1 is 60 degrees, so alpha 2 will be 120 degrees. So converter 1 will act as rectifier, other will act as an inverter. So all these things should be kept in mind, and the voltages are to be drawn. Okay. Now over here, once over here, yeah. Over here, what is happening? Since we are operating both the converters at the same time, okay, there is no question of giving that delay. Okay, so that 10 to 20 millisecond delay which was present in non-circulating mode is not present over here. So the system becomes more faster. Okay, so that is a very good advantage over here in dual converters. And let us look at some of the disadvantage also. What is the disadvantage? Because you have to limit such high current, you need a high value of reactor. Okay, 1 second. So it is used, a large value of reactor is used to limit that circulating current. Okay, so if you go on increasing the size of the reactor, you know the size and cost of the means the cost of the reactor will also be increased. So at high power levels, the reactors will be very costly. This circulating current obviously will lead to some I square R losses. So there will be more losses in the rectifier, and hence the efficiency and power factor will be low. And over here, the converters has to handle the load current as well as the circulating current. So the rating of the converter, means the thyristors used in the converter should be more. Suppose you are using a 5 ampere thyristor um, in a non-circulating mode. For that, maybe you are, for circulating mode, you have to use 8 ampere or more than that. So it should be more, because it has to handle both circulating current and load current. And one advantage I told you, obviously it is written over here, fast response is obtained, because because both converters are operating at the same time, so there is no delay. Okay, so very fast response is obtained over here. So mainly circulating mode is only preferred because of this advantage. So you can go through this. This can come as short notes for you. Explain the dual converter operation. Either circulating mode or non-circulating mode, I'll ask. No need to worry that so many things you have to write down. Only either circulate. You have to write down this. What is the function of a dual converter? If I tell you to write down, you have to write few introduction about this. Why these points you have to write down, and you can draw any one of the diagram to show a dual converter and write about ideal dual converter. If you are told to explain what is dual converter without circulating current or with circulating current, you can draw any of the circuits over here, either single phase or three phase, and write explanation about it. I'll not ask this whole thing as one 5 marks question.